Hi, third grade readers. In today's student-facing video, we're on Module 10, Lesson 9, and our focus question is, why is it important to pass stories down to the next generation? So in this student-facing video, we are going to be focusing on the passage you're going to be reading and the notice and note signpost again and again. So again, we are on Lesson 9, and today's focus question is, why might the author bring this up again and again? Now remember, signposts are not always obvious to the reader. Sometimes we really have to be aware of them as we're reading and always kind of be on the lookout for the invisible clues that authors might leave us. So we know, for example, when like a character is having an aha moment, they suddenly realize something and things change for them. Or if they are getting advice from an older, wiser character, that's the words of a wiser moment. Or if they are flashing back and they are going back in time to a memory or something from long ago that happened to them, they're having a memory moment. So there's always clues that can lead you to which signposts you are going to be coming upon. And again exactly means just that. Something happens again and again or repeats. And when something happens again and again, it means it's very important. So our lesson objective today is to notice and note information in a text that gets repeated again and again, such as events, things that happen, images, or words. So we're going to track comprehension and use the notice and note signpost again and again in Cinder Al and the Stinky Footwear, page 393 to 394. And then you're going to do that also with independent reading to see if you notice any again and again signposts in your independent reading. So today we will continue reading Cinder Al and the Stinky Footwear by Roger Lohr and illustrated by Chin Ko, and we're going to be focusing on pages 393 to 394. So fairy tales are traditional tales that tell stories about magical characters and events. Authors of fairy tales usually tell the story through the plot. The characters in fairy tales may include royalty. It usually begins with once upon a time or long ago. And the authors of fairy tales use sensory details and figurative language to develop the characters. And what's really fun about this fairy tale is that it's a fractured fairy tale. That means like another take on a common fairy tale. So it might sound familiar to you, Cinderella and Stinky Footwear. If you've ever heard of Cinderella, then you would be familiar with this. It's kind of like another take on Cinderella, another perspective. So if you haven't read or heard of Cinderella or not familiar with it, then this would be like another version of it, another perspective. So the signpost again and again, why might the author bring this up? When you are reading and you notice that an author keeps repeating something again and again, you must ask yourself this anchor question. Why is the author doing this? Obviously, when something repeats over and over, it has to be important to the author, and the author wants you to kind of stop and notice it. This can help you understand the story better. So today, as we read Cinder Al and the Stinky Footwear, you're going to practice asking yourself, what is repeating? What word is repeating, what event is repeating, what image is repeating, what idea is repeating. And then why is the author bringing this up again and again? And be ready to stop and share when we notice things being repeated again and again. So I have taken these pages 393 and 394 and I've broken them apart for you. So I just want you to stop, pause this video, and look at what you notice and wonder in this picture. Okay, I see an onion. It looks like there's stinky smell coming from it. She's around a skunk. Okay, look at the ideas, look at the images, and really take notice of what you see. And now we're going to look for other repeated ideas, words, and events here. Stinky Hollow was ruled by Princess Piu. Piu, right? Princess Piu was an even mightier skunk wrestler than Stinky Steve and could pin 5 skunks at one time. She was a more fantastic farmer than Odoriferous Owen. She grew Tenton garlic in the palace garden. Okay, so I hear odoriferous, Tenton garlic, skunks. I noticed an idea is like pretty, is repeating here. Because of these mighty stinky abilities, Princess Pu was the stinkiest person in Stinky Hollow, and she had no one to dance with at the upcoming palace ball. So she issued a royal proclamation. So think about the ideas and the words that are repeated here: stinky, Pu, skunk, garlic, stinky, skunk. Think about why this is so important. Then also think about how this is affecting the character. What is Princess Pu's main problem here? Okay, why is she making this proclamation? What problem is she passing? Notice what's happening again and again. This is important. Here he, blah, 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 etc. The stinky bachelor, again, something else repeated, who can wear the stinky footwear. And I noticed the shoes now with those that scent marks coming out. Get to dance with Princess Pu at the palace ball. If it all works out, the two of you might get married, but no promises. So again, stinky. Repeat it again. Footwear, the scent is coming out. The word stinky. Repeat it again and again. There is a reason that the author is doing this. I want you to try and think, why might the author be doing this? Why is this so important? Now take a look at this image. What is he holding? What is he smelling? What idea or image is repeated that connects to everything else we just read? Why might the author be repeating this idea, image, or thought? Now we're looking for the same thing. What's being repeated again and again? The stinky footwear was nothing more than a pair of elegant dancing shoes. However, these shoes came with one pungent problem. They reeked, they stank. Again, all these ideas and words keep being repeated. They smelled like the biggest skunk sitting in the garbage dump on the hottest day of the year eating 4 rotten eggs. Again, the author is repeating a certain idea here. Wearing these shoes and surviving their terrible stench wouldn't be easy, even for the stinkiest bachelors in Stinky Hollow. Again, the idea is repeated. However, the rotten reek of the stinky footwear didn't stop Stinky Steve. He followed his nose straight to the palace. When he placed the footwear onto his feet, his eyes watered, his stomach churned, and his nose stung. Steve couldn't stand the stench, and he ran out of the palace screaming, "I'd rather sniff 70 skunks." Auriferous Owen went next, and he did far worse than his smelly brother. After one whiff of the stinky footwear, Owen fainted. He passed out right in front of Princess Pu. So there again is a reason the author keeps repeating this idea about smelling and stinking and all the bad stenches and the stinky footwear. There is a reason that this is going to either lead to the exciting parts of the story or the solution to the story or the climax of the story. So again, when you are reading on your own, you always want to see if there's certain words or ideas that seem to pop up over and over. Okay, so I want you to try and think here as we continue on. What did the author repeat again and again? How did that help us understand the story better? Okay, so I kind of guided you a little bit here what to look for. So I want you to go back and really think here. What did the author discuss over and over and over, whether it was through the same words, the same ideas, or the same pictures? And how did that help you understand the story better when you read the overall story?